Hi! We are in the final countdown because in about, oh my gosh, 26 hours, I will be in the air on my way to Europe. I'm going to visit my friend States in London. Have not seen him since, oh my gosh, it's been a few years. The last time I saw him, I think I was in Paris on a trip and then took the Eurostar to London and visited for, I think it was for a quick weekend. So this is another weekend trip, but I'm on my way to my friend Sophia's wedding, which is in Florence. And after that, I'll be in Rome for a few days to do like a solo trip because, you know, I love those. So I have actually a lot of things to do in the next 24 hours. I have to make some returns. I'm going to go pick up a little like thank you gift. It's like coffee beans from La Colombe. Anyone who's been to Philly knows how much people in Philly love La Colombe and the fact that it's a Philly brand. So I'm going to pick some up because I don't even know if they drink that in London. You know what? It's 2024. They've probably reached London by now. But yeah, so we have a lot to do. I haven't packed. I'm going to try to pack everything tonight, even though my flight doesn't leave until tomorrow night. But after a few years of living in Philly and saying that I would never, ever, or trying my hardest, I never said I would never, but trying my hardest to only fly out of the Philly airport. People who live here know how hard that is. Philly is not a super popular transportation hub, so you don't have a ton of flights that are direct. But as a Delta girly, which you guys should know by now, I am. There are no direct flights from Philly to London, and it was also super expensive to fly out of Philly and stay with Delta. So I had to look at other options. I didn't want to take an international flight that wasn't Delta because then you don't really like reap the benefits from that in terms of points and potential like upgrades, things like that. So, which is also why I prefer to just like stick with one airline as much as possible. So I ended up booking a flight out of JFK, New York City, and I'm in Philly. It would have been easier to stay with a friend in London or in New York before, but that was just, I had so much to do here in the city, so that was impossible. So I will be Ubering, because shuttles apparently don't really exist from Philly to JFK. So I booked an Uber. I'm so like fingers crossed that they actually show up. I'm quite nervous that they won't. I have to make sure I'm ready to leave my apartment at 1 because since it's pre-booked, I can't just like have them wait. That's why we have to be a little bit proactive, which means I think that's why I actually have time to vlog my travel process. Because normally I'm like booking it. Like I'm packing, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm literally like still zipping up my suitcase when the Uber is outside of the door. So I can't afford to do that this time around. So we're gonna vlog it. I went out and didn't mean to do it, but now I got an iced cold brew, which was not my intention. Also, disregard the mess. I feel like this is representative of what my apartment looks like before I travel anywhere. And yes, I did bring out the tripod, you can see in the background. One of my friends and I guess former classmates, Victoria, she's moving tomorrow. So, boo, sad. But, so I'm gonna see her and say goodbye to her before. And I think that's like one of the things about being one of the last ones still like repping Philly is people are trickling out and the person who's the last one will get to see everyone for a little bit longer. But then you also have to do like these smaller goodbyes that make it feel a little bit more real. And by it, I mean like the closing of this chapter. So it's just like a nice reminder that it's, you know, people are moving on. So let's move on. I got some coffee and then I found out that you get a free iced or hot coffee basic. So I just got a cold brew, which I'm gonna be jumping off the walls. I might not finish this to be honest, but I did want some caffeine towards the end, but it was kind of late to be drinking caffeine. So I got this Nisa. This is what I use for my cold brew. This is literally what I drink every day. I also got Fishtown. So this is named after this neighborhood in Philly called Fishtown, which I think it gets its name because the German settlers in that area were fishermen, and It's like right by the water, and so I think they had like fish markets. So I got that, and so I'm like walking around Philly with like my La Colombe bag and my La Colombe coffee cup, and I went to 1-900 ice cream, and I got the ice cream sandwich. This is also like turning into like such a random vlog, but we will pack, I promise. The founder, he has a really good Instagram strategy. Takes you behind the scenes of creating these ice cream sandwiches, and he tells you about like the logistics behind it, like why like they might run out of a certain flavor, or why they need to use certain like cooling machines, and why it's hot in the locations. He talked about this flavor yesterday, and so I knew they were gonna have it, but a lot of times they like sell out. There's no line, and I went there and they still had this, which I was shocked about. So now I'm like worried, is it not gonna be good? Do people not like this one? Ice cream is great. Corn cookie and salted caramel ice cream. It's sinful. Because it's summer and I'm wearing a lot of like cotton and linen, which tends to wrinkle and not travel well. And anyone who knows me knows I iron things. Like I have my iron here. I will iron. Like I can't go out wearing wrinkled clothing. Some people feel comfortable. I do not. And my worst nightmare when traveling fashion-wise is getting to a place and not having access to an iron. It's happened to me a couple of times now, especially in like Airbnbs or just like more boutique environments. I remember that happening when I had a wedding and my dress was really wrinkled, and we had to put the dress in the bathroom to steam it like while we were showering, and it was a nightmare and it barely worked. So I did get the steamer from Amazon. It says kills 99% of bacteria. Okay, cool. Good housekeeping. Great. Number one garment, whatever. It matches my suitcase. I love pink. I had 2 requirements because I'm going to Europe. It has to be dual voltage. The reason why we can't use a lot of these, like you can't use like your hair dryer, hair straightener and stuff across the pond, is because it's not dual voltage. I think we use 110 and they use 240. And so things that are meant for the US's voltage system will burn the sockets out of the place you're staying at if you're in like Europe and things like that. So I have a dual voltage like hair straightener. I mean, obviously my hair's not straight, but I have found that there are some brands, I think it's probably more expensive, 100% it's more expensive to develop that, which is why in order to keep costs low, people tend to just give you 1 voltage. Oh my gosh, this is kind of heavy, but it's so cute. What? Oh, we're doing it big. I don't know how to use this. Catch me steaming my things. And you can tell it's well made. Actually, I actually don't know if that's the case. I learned in my product design class that there's this blogger who will take products apart to see how they're made. The types of metals, the types of like methods they use to like wield things. And he did that for Beats by Dre headphones. And he found that they have these 4 pieces of metal in the headband that serve no other purpose but to add weight to the headphones, so they give like a luxurious feel, because like we tend to equate like heaviness with luxury or value. We tend to like ascribe more value to things that are heavier because we think, oh, like they're using like better quality metals, or they're using metal instead of just like plastic, and they literally only had these 4 metal parts to make you think that they were using like nicer materials. Just to add weight to it. So maybe this is what's going on here. I choose not to believe that. And it's like a whole reveal. The guys will be sitting, maybe one of the guys would have like messed around in Casa Amor and been like, oh, but like my girl's gonna like stay, of course. And then the girl comes in with like the new guy. And they're like, yeah, no, I'm not. Or the opposite happens where the girl's like, oh, we're in love. My head didn't turn, so I'm excited to go back to like, Adam or whatever. And then they show up and Adam's got his hand around like the new girl. Ah, so good. And halfway, like during Casa Amor, like they'll send photos, almost as if like they hired like a private investigator. Not every season, but like they'll send like the girls the photos of the guys, especially if the guys are having a rowdy like, Casa Amor experience where they're like making out with everybody.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's so good.
Casa Amor is crazy.
Say what
It's
you
a
want to
cute dress.
say.
No, it's
say
a
what
cute
you want to
dress.
say. Say what you want to say.
It reminds me of those African dresses with the big sleeves.
What?
I'm gonna go.
Aww. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Oh. I'm so glad that like we started hanging out more this year. Victoria's leaving me.
Bye.
Is that all you want to say?
No, I'm just
Victoria came by to say goodbye, and I really thought, you know, we say goodbye, bye on our merry way, but we just like hung out and like chatted for a few hours. I actually still have my coffee, which I'm gonna need now that it's like almost midnight. First of all, I have this mess that's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. I was just gathering things in my carry-on. I have my makeup bag. This took the longest. I don't know what it is, but because I just wasn't sure of the looks I wanted, and I have like a wedding, and then I don't want to wear wedding makeup every day. Like I want like a lighter vibe. So I have options, but maybe I have too many options. Okay, checking in. I've been watching Flagrant. If you guys watch or listen to that podcast, it's a lot. But I have a stack of clothes here that I know I'm packing. Clothes I need to try on, and then a mess. The mess pile is getting bigger, but these are just things that I know that I need to pack, but they're smaller items. They don't look that small. Like sports bras, some workout stuff, like underwear, just little things that I know need to come with me, but now I just have to get them into these like packing cubes. We're making progress, so that's a start. It's 2:45 a.m. I would love to finish this in the next hour so I can go to sleep.